Welcome to Inbound Sales Journey. If you want to hone your sales skills and learn from the leaders on inbound selling, you've come to the right place. This episode of Inbound Sales Journey is brought to you by the Agency Sales System, the online course designed specifically to teach you how to build a rock-solid agency sales system inside your HubSpot CRM. Learn more at doinbound.com/sales course. Now, here are your hosts, Ryan and Gray.
Welcome to episode number 100 of Inbound Sales Journey. Thank you, and thank you, Ryan.
That was not computer generated. That was my own vocals.
In case you couldn't tell, that was Ryan. Episode number 100 of this podcast. I had no thoughts that we were going to stop this thing early when we started it, but I didn't really think about what was this going to feel like when we get to episode 100.
You don't know. Will people listen? Will they not listen? Will it be worth it? Not worth it?
We have had enough positive feedback and enough of an audience built here that we have kept this thing going for 2 years now, Ryan. Congratulations, man. That's an accomplishment. So today, what we're going to be talking through is we're basically just going to be talking about what we've learned from recording, well, after this one, 100 episodes of the podcast together.
Yeah, you did point out, technically we've only done 99. We're in the process of 100.
This is number 100 right now.
As we speak.
So we could technically end it, and this would be episode 100. So we could say we've got 100 episodes in the book at this point. So let's go ahead and dive in. Ryan, what are the big takeaways? What have you learned? How has doing 100 episodes, 99 plus episodes of Inbound Sales Journey, how's that made you better at sales? What have you learned from that?
I've got a few thoughts. So here is how the podcast has helped us and helped me specifically. So first of all, it was an awesome way to basically like grow an audience and help build the Do Inbound brand. Mm-hmm. So we really built our entire company on the backs of podcasts. So we have 4 shows. This one and Inbound Agency Journey are the longest running shows. Inbound Agency Journey is slightly longer. And that one's a little bit different in the terms, if you guys haven't listened to that one, it's more of an interview style with other agency owners. That one's really good.
That one's a great one, especially if you're an agency owner and you're not listening to that one yet. Go through, subscribe to that podcast, and just pick out. I think that one of the things that I've gotten much better at with podcasts is I'll subscribe to a ton of podcasts, but I pick and choose. When there's new episodes, there are only a handful. There's a small handful of shows that I'll listen to every single episode. Most of them I'll pick and choose. I'll get the notification, hey, this is new on the podcast, or I'll go into the podcast app and root through them, see what's new, and I'll pick and choose what topics or people interest me and grab those ones. So anyways, especially if you're an agency owner, really if you're anywhere in the agency, there are episodes that are appropriate for you specifically, but especially if you're an agency owner, go subscribe and pick through, learn from people who are where you're at or beyond where you are right now.
So that's my number 1, Gray. It helped us build our brand, which has been really cool. And I think it's the second longest and also the second most listened to show, which has been cool. Although I know Agency Toolbox.
Agency Toolbox, baby. We're fast on the heels of.
You gave me that look right away.
Of Inbound Sales.
Has it surpassed yet?
What's that?
Has it surpassed?
Oh, no. No, I need to crank it more.
Yeah, don't give me that look. Then I was pretty confident that we were number 2. And then Happy Client Show, also a good one.
That's right.
That one is making a resurgence, actually.
A resurgence with video. If you guys have not seen the new video format that Andrew and Ben have rolled out on the Happy Client Show, make sure you give that a check out on, just go to the Learning Center, doinbound.com/learning center, and you'll be able to find Happy Client Show there.
They took a pause on that one for almost a year.
Yep.
And then just brought it back.
Hiatus,
which is cool.
I think is the technical word.
Yeah.
All right, we got to keep the ball rolling here. Ryan, hit me up with what else you've learned, how this has made you better at sales.
So I think that it has challenged my thinking on various topics. So we've covered a lot of different topics about a lot of different areas of sales. And so I think it's just kind of expanded my horizons on how I approach sales and some new ways to think about it. It also has forced me to research and and read some new resources on it. So I think that's been pretty cool. I think if you guys are in sales, we did an episode a little while ago about creating a brand and creating content. I think just learning, being open to new resources is really helpful. So that's been really cool. It also kind of forced me to research areas that I had no experience with in sales before. So that's been really interesting as well, and books that I never would have read otherwise reading. So that kind of goes hand in hand. Also made me step out of my comfort zone. So I have never podcasted before this. I still think after like 100 episodes, I'm not like 100% confident with it, but I think I feel a lot more confident than certainly I was in the beginning. But yeah, that's been kind of cool. So communicating on a new medium. And then I think the last one is just the impact it has had for me personally selling. So a lot of listeners are also customers. And that's been cool because it helps me just kind of communicate a little bit faster, a little bit easier with our different customers. And it's been really fun to like have people that have listened to the podcast for a while, then become customers, and we chat like through that process as well, and just actually getting to know them and like hear stories of the people that listen to the show, which like makes me more excited about doing the show. So
For sure.
Those are mine.
Dude, I like it. We've got a lot of the same things. I would say number one, that as you would expect, anytime you teach something, you're going to get better at it. So I personally feel there's going to be an evolution that would happen anyways, but compared to if we go back 2 years ago, I personally know I'm way more confident in sales today than I was at that point. And at that point, I felt like, I'm finally starting to get the hang of it. So that trajectory is just going to continue. And 2 years from now, I'm going to be like, wow, back in 2017, I knew nothing about sales. Like I was still just starting to get the hang of it, and now I'm pretty good. And then that'll continue to grow and evolve. But have learned a ton just from my conversations with you, questions from listeners, and the ability to to teach or to find answers, to help find answers together on those. The ability, we've done some interviews here on the podcast, so to chat with other folks and just paying more attention to the world of agency sales has been an awesome experience, and definitely have learned a lot. So I'd say probably number one, like confidence in sales is killer. I mean, if you don't have confidence, good luck selling anything. And doing this podcast, being forced to talk about, not in a bad way, but being forced to talk about and think about sales on a weekly basis for 2 years is going to give you more confidence, especially when you combine that with actually getting out and doing some sales. So that's not my primary role, but I still have the opportunity to do sales and try and keep taking on new opportunities there to keep the skill set sharp and growing sharper. So I'd say that is that's a blanket answer. Here's some of the ways that it's made me better at sales, and just the primary benefit that it has made me better at sales. But outside of that, it's been a really enjoyable experience to build out another podcast next to, obviously at times it can be a lot to try and do inbound agency journey, inbound sales journey, and agency toolbox. Do all of those. There are guest podcast appearances, and just at times a lot going on the marketing side of things. But I do really enjoy it, and to hear feedback from folks who are listening to and benefiting from the podcast has been really cool. Just continuing to build the community. I've known for a long time, since high school was the first time I think that I really realized how much I personally value community, and that I wanted to be involved in building that someday and helping to organize and lead and participate in tight communities focused around specific purposes or ends. So this is yet another opportunity to do that and feel like I'm living out what I was built to do. So I've enjoyed it a lot. I really appreciate you listening to this episode right now and these podcasts, being with us for part of the journey. As we look forward to what the next 100 episodes, 2 years, 1 year look like, I would like to see even more interaction with agency sales folks who are listening to this, who have follow-up questions around specifics, who might even want to come on the podcast. And I think some of the ideas that we could certainly kick around and have toyed with before, but would be like a case study, agency owners who want to come on and talk through, here's where we're struggling in sales right now, and do almost like one-on-one sales coaching on the podcast. There's a lot of different ideas and ways that we've thought about and been suggested that we could go. So anyways, just increasing the engagement and interaction with folks who are listening. I think that's something that I'd like to do sometimes as you and I, Ryan, try and batch some of these episodes. It can be a little bit harder to take the time to bring people onto the podcast and build that out. But I think that's an area that we could move towards in the future as well. So we'll kick that around. We'd love to hear your feedback on those ideas, other ideas you have for improving the podcast. But I've really enjoyed it. It's been a good ride so far, and look forward to keeping it rocking and rolling.
All right.
Keeping it 100.
That's episode number 100. We'll wrap it up there. We have one more episode left in Season 8 of Inbound Sales Journey. We are going to be talking about something that's been really helpful for us, Greg, courses. So that is coming up next week. Until then, good luck selling.
Thank you for listening to Inbound Sales Journey. You can find the show's notes for today's episode at doinbound.com/salesjourney. That's doinbound, all one word, .com/salesjourney. Today's show is sponsored by Do Inbound, the world's first project and process management platform built specifically for inbound marketing agencies. Learn more at doinbound.com. If you enjoyed this episode, why don't you head over to iTunes and subscribe? Make sure you leave us a review of the show. Until next time, remember, life is a journey. Keep moving forward.